Lesson 63. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. How holy are you who have the power to bring peace to every mind. How blessed are you who can learn to recognize the means for letting this be done through you. What purpose could you have that would bring you greater happiness? You are indeed the light of the world with such a function. The Son of God looks to you for his redemption. It is yours to give him, for it belongs to you. Accept no trivial purpose or meaningless desire in its place, or you will forget your function and leave the Son of God in hell. This is no idle request that is being asked of you. You are being asked to accept salvation that it may be yours to give. Recognizing the importance of this function, we will be happy to remember it very often today. We will begin the day by acknowledging it and close the day with a thought of it in our awareness. And throughout the day, we will repeat this as often as we can. The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. I am the means God has appointed for the salvation of the world. If you close your eyes, you will probably find it easier to let the related thoughts come to you in the minute or two that you should devote to considering this. Do not, however, wait for such an opportunity. No chance should be lost for reinforcing today's idea. Remember that God's Son looks to you for his salvation, and who but yourself must be his son? The light of the world brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness. This lesson is building on the previous two lessons. I am the light of the world, and forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. Today's is the light of the world, who I am, brings peace to every mind through my forgiveness, through my function. We have talked about how we get back into alignment with the mind of God by remembering our identity, who we are, and remembering our function, our purpose, why we're here. It helps snap us back into focus, into alignment. It is a direct correction back into where we need to be, to have confidence, to have conviction, to feel safe, secure, protected, and to go forth and express our function, express that confidence, express that conviction, express that love through our forgiveness, through our function that brings peace to everyone as a miracle worker in the world. Forgiveness is our function. It is in seeing the innocence, the ultimate truth in someone else, that we are able to understand, comprehend, and see the innocence and truth of who we are. If you believe it in someone else, you are more likely to believe it within yourself. It is in practicing this function. The atonement and forgiveness are essentially the same thing. It is the primary function of the miracle worker to accept the atonement for ourselves, a correct perception of our brothers, their innocence and their truth, and of ourselves, our innocence and our truth. And then we can get about our Father's business here in the world by performing that function, by forgiving, by expressing love. And forgiveness is the ultimate expression of love. We have also talked about how God's love is a love in which we forgive. That in those moments where we can't do that, we can't do it on our own, we can't forgive because we're still locked into the battleground, that human level of chaos in the world of form, and the grievance and the grudges and everything that would build a case against our brother. We can't get there. It's fine, we have help. We just have to remember that we have that help and ask the Holy Spirit to help us to think with the mind of God, to think with love, to see with the eyes of love instead. And God's love is the love in which we forgive. We've talked about how miracles are expressions of love. Therefore, if forgiveness is the ultimate expression of love, forgiveness is the ultimate gift, the ultimate miracle that you can give your brothers and yourself. In fact, the lesson yesterday said all forgiveness is a gift to yourself. You cannot give what you don't have, and you can't receive what you don't give. So it's a boomerang effect. Why is it a boomerang effect? Why does it come back to us, as I like to say, with interest? Because there's really only one of us here. We are all connected at the level of mind. In the world of form, we have separate bodies. We appear to be separate from each other. That's what the world was made for us to experience, that separation. But like I've said, we don't really like it. We found out, wait a minute. This is chaotic. This is fearful. This is loveless. This is stressful. And there is an innate yearning for us to remember our identity as God's Son, one of us, all of us together, unified in the kingdom. This lesson talks about the Son of God. The Son of God looks to you for his redemption. We don't want to forget our function and leave the Son of God in hell. Remember that God's Son looks to you for his salvation, and who but yourself, with a capital S, your higher self, who you truly are, must be his son. The Course says your part is essential in God's plan for salvation. Why? Because there's really only one of us here. So when one of us gets it, we are all healed on some level. And we're not healed alone, the Course says. God's Son, the Son of God, is all of us collectively. Your part is essential. The primary responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for himself. God's plan for salvation is the atonement, the correction of perception. When your perception is healed, all of the sonship's perception is healed. One of the earlier lessons in the Course, in the workbook, is I could see peace instead of this. When you accept this first section, how holy are you? How blessed are you? Who has the power to bring peace to every mind? Yeah, I could see peace instead of this. That's how important your role is. Your correction of your perception. Because when you are healed, you are not healed alone. That is the first miracle, the shift in your perception, the correction of your perception. Because until then, you don't remember who you are, you don't remember who your brother is. That is forgiveness, essentially. Remembering your identity. And if you don't remember your identity, you can't really remember why you're here and perform your function, which is expressing love, being a miracle worker in the world. So you can bring peace to every mind simply by remembering who you are and why you're here and asking to see it differently. You are very holy, miracle worker. You are the means God has appointed for the salvation of the world. Don't think you have a small role to play. Every mind is connected. Every shift back into remembering who you are, that you have that power, that God has assigned this to you because he created you, because you're his son, that you are a miracle worker meant to express love in a loveless world, to bring the holiness, to bring the light into the world, to bring God into the world, to bring love into the world. Then you live from a different place. You watch your thoughts. And as your thoughts shift, your actions, your behavior, your consciousness, your perception, everything shifts. And your life experience and that of the world changes too.